Good evening. At this time, I will welcome everyone for coming out to the Community Relations Committee organizational meeting. And at this time, I would say to the council members and to the citizen members, please accept this information below for the Community Relations Committee organizational meeting. The organizational meeting will be held today, which is Monday, February 9th at 4 p.m. Duties of this committee, the community.
Excuse me, Chair. I'd
Oh,
like to do a roll call.
I was okay.
Committee Member Niskoski,
Present.
Committee Member Bolden Simpson,
Present.
Vice Chair White,
Present.
Citizen Member Miss Alice Pickens, and Committee Chair Gunn Rogers.
Present.
Thank you.
Well, you can't say I wasn't trying to get it over with. I was not going to go over any of my time. So the duties of this committee is to oversee the various activities of the Office of Community Affairs and Relations and ongoing communications with the public and private entities operating within the city of South Bend. The chairperson of the Community Relations Committee shall schedule not less than 2 committee meetings each calendar year, inviting the superintendent, school trustees of the South Bend Community School Corporation, their committees or designated representatives, and other non-public school officials operating within the city of South Bend to discuss community relation. Oh, I'm sorry. The chairperson may schedule additional meeting in a calendar year on school community relations as he or she deems appropriate. Okay. The chairperson shall additionally schedule residential neighborhood committee to receive and discuss information from the Community Campus Advisory Coalition and all city agencies, offices, and departments involved with public safety relations. A further address in section 1460 of the South Bend Municipal Code. Okay. Okay, members of this committee for 2026 shall be Ophelia Gooden Rogers, Chairperson Karen L. White, Vice Chairperson Alice Pickens, citizen members Sheila Nagowski, member, and Sherry Bolden Simpson, member. And at this time, I would like to ask the committee, does anyone have any questions? Seeing no questions, then at this time, I would adjourn this meeting. Good afternoon again. At this time, I'd like to call the
Chair,
public.
we have 1 more minute. One more
Okay.
minute.
Okay,
Yes, 1 more minute.
okay. Yours say 407?
404.
So Clerk Torado, is that my minute right there? Or is it still?
My computer says it just turned 4:05, so you can
Okay.
call to order.
Okay, at this time, we'll call the Public Works and Property Vacation Organizational Committee meeting together. Would you like to do a roll call?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Committee Member Warner, Committee Member Dr. Davis, Committee Vice Chair Niskoski,
Present.
Citizen Member Abel Gonzalez, and Committee Chair Gunn Rogers. I
Thank
have
you.
4 present.
Okay. At this time, council members, and please accept this information below for the Public Works and Property Vacation Committee organizational meeting. The organizational meeting will be held today, which is February 9th at 4:05 p.m. Duties of this committee. Public Works and Property Vacation Committees oversees the various activities performed by the Building Department, the Department of Public Works, and related public and property vacation issues. On this committee shall be Ophelia Gooden Rogers, Chairperson, Sheila Nagowski, Vice Chairperson, Abel Gonzalez, Citizen, Member, Dr. Oliver Davis, Member, Troy Warner, Member. And does the committee at this time have any questions? And seeing no questions, then this committee is now dismissed.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. I would like to call the Personnel and Finance Committee meeting to order. This will serve as the organizational meeting for the committee. Clerk Torato, could you please take the roll call?
Committee Member Thomas Morgan,
Present.
Committee Member Good Rogers, Committee Vice Chair White,
Present.
Committee Chair Niskoski,
I am present.
all present.
Okay, thank you so much. So the announcement, these are our council members that will be serving on the committee this year that you just heard the roll call for. I did interview all of the citizen members that applied for this, so I will be making that decision here soon, so everybody knows. And then I'll send out a note thanking everyone for their participation this year. Um, As far as the annual report for 2025, I believe that's been distributed to everyone. I did chair that committee last year, so if you have any questions on that, please feel free to let me know. The duties per the South Bend Municipal Code for Personal and Finance are as follows. Oversees the activities performed by the Department of Administration and Finance and reviews all the proposed salaries, budgets, appropriations, and other fiscal matters, as well as personnel policies, health benefits, and related matters. So does everybody understand the duties?
Yes.
Okay. Is there any discussion about any committee goals this year for the personal and finance? Okay.
Chair,
Mhm.
I wouldn't mind maybe giving that some thought and emailing you with some suggestions.
Okay, that'd be fine. And just so everyone knows, the calendar is filling up for this year, so Clerk Toretto and I are going to start looking on the budget. I know nobody wants to hear that word already, but we have to start selecting the budget meetings. That'll probably, I know it's usually late August, probably September, and then, of course, we vote on the budget in October. So if there's no other questions or anything to come before this committee, Miss Ophelia Rogers?
Yes, I'd like to hear what Councilwoman Morgan said, because down here, for some reason.
Oh, sure.
Sure, I'll speak more directly into the microphone. I just said that I'd be happy to give that some thought, just any additional goals or things to look at for the committee and email our chair.
Thank you.
Okay, if there's no other questions to come before this organizational meeting, this meeting is now adjourned, and the next meeting is community investment that will start at 4:15 PM. It's 2 minutes. Thank you.
Talking to Karen.
Good afternoon. I would like to call the Community Investment Committee to order at this time. I would like for our clerk to announce the members of the council that we have, as well as if we have any citizen members present with us at this time.
Committee Member Gooden Rogers. Committee Member Bolden Simpson. Committee Vice Chair White.
Present.
Citizen Member Kevin Upton.
Present.
Citizen Member Thomas Gray. I have 3 members present.
Do we have a quorum?
We do. We do not have a quorum.
Unfortunately, at this time, we do not have a quorum. Hopefully, committee members will be joining very quickly and that we can go back to our committee and have a committee meeting.
We're waiting for a committee member to hop on in 2 minutes, so please be patient. Thank you.
Clerk Toronto, could you call the roll?
Yeah.
Once again, we do have Councilwoman Sherry Bolton?
Yes.
And we
Thank you for
appreciate
joining us.
Mhm.
Committee Member Gooden Rogers,
Present.
Committee Member Bolden Simpson,
Present.
Committee Vice Chair White,
Present.
Citizen Member Kevin Upton,
Present.
Citizen Member Thomas Gripe, Committee Chair Warner is excused. We have a quorum.
Okay, thank you so much. And I apologize for the late start, but I'm very pleased that we do have a quorum. And as we begin to look at our annual report, if you have not received a copy of the 2025 annual report for the committee members, we do have copies for you. This committee has been very, very, very busy. And you see in regards to all the various accomplishments that have been made. And I'm just going to give a very brief overview of the duties of the committee, and then we're going to adjourn our organizational meeting and go directly to the business that we have that is before us. So the duties of the Community Investment Committee oversees the various activities of the Department of Community Investment. This committee reviews all real and personal tax abatement requests and works closely with the business development team. And so at this time, I will call the organizational meeting to close, and then we're going to go directly. If you have any goals that you would like to share as well, you can put those in writing, and we can make sure that the chair of the committee, Councilman Warner, will get those goals as he can review those. At this time, we're going to continue with our regular meeting. And at the first item that we have under community investment is Bill 0526. And so clerk, when we
We
ask
have
to
a
come,
petitioner.
yeah, we have a
Yeah.
petitioner. We ask that you state your name and your address and that you give us a review of Bill 0526 that is before us.
Good afternoon, committee members. Caleb Bauer, Executive Director of Community Investment, offices on the 5th floor of this building. Before you today is third reading of an ordinance authorizing the issuance of taxable economic development, a taxable economic development note. And this is in relation to the establishment of the Innovation Development District, and then more specifically, the project being Colfax Corner. We were before you at your previous meeting. I was before you related to a resolution that established new TIF allocation areas in relation to the establishment of the IDD. But I'm going to just run through very quickly a summary of that tool and then how it relates to the ordinance before you today. So the IDD is a scalable, market-driven solution that will remit a couple forms of state tax increment back into the control of the city of South Bend. That would be incremental state income tax. So for individuals employed within the footprint of the district, new individuals employed, and then incremental sales tax. So new sales tax revenues generated within the footprint shown here on your screen. We have completed negotiations with the state of Indiana related to how that revenue will flow back to the South Bend Redevelopment Commission and may be used in furtherance of projects within the district, much like we use TIF funds, property tax increment funds, will now be able to layer on these forms of state tax increment as well. So a really exciting tool. What's great about it is it's using taxes generated by a project that can then be used to support a financing that brings in the upfront resources. As well, these are tax dollars that would have otherwise been going to the state government, and the state government is allowing us to utilize them here locally in furtherance of the expansion and growth we're already seeing in the downtown area. So a really exciting tool and one we think can really make the difference on projects like the Colfax Corner project, which I'll get into here shortly. So just a reminder and refresher, The agreement with the state of Indiana that governs the remittance of these revenues, there's a cap of $15 million of state sales and income tax increment annually over the 30-year term of this district, with a total state maximum contribution of $225 million over the term. So if in year 20, we're getting close to that $225 million, the state has said they would consider amendments to the IDD agreement. But for the purposes and because of the requirements of state procurement, they do need to have a maximum contribution outlined in the contract. And so that's where it's landed at this point in time. Designation of the district will begin on March 15th, 2026. So the base rates will be set as of that date, as well as we'll have already set the new base rates for the property tax economic development area, the TIF allocation areas that had already come before you. So I won't go too far into this. I know you've already seen this, but there's significant return on investment for the state for making this tool available to us. And we're excited to be really a pilot for the state and of how this tool can be utilized in an urban area. Other states have pursued these types of tax capture tools to great success. And so we're really grateful to the state of Indiana for their forward-thinking view here. Grateful to our local state delegation, Senator Ryan Mishler, Senator David Nisgotsky, both members of the State Budget Committee were key in this establishment. And then also grateful to the IEDC and Governor Braun's office for their support. So we're really excited to be at this point, and that's the framework we're working within. And now we'll get into the specifics of the Colfax Corner agreement. So again, the resolution before you, 526, is an ordinance authorizing the issuance of taxable economic development revenue bonds, not dissimilar to other ordinances you've seen where we're issuing financing to support a project. But what's new here is that we are going to be remitting 3 forms of tax increment to support the debt service obligations of this financing. We're remitting property tax, which is what you've seen before, but then also state sales and state income tax that is made available to us through the IDD. A few key metrics for this project, which is just to locate yourself, the block between Lafayette Boulevard and Main Street, north of Colfax Avenue, the former South Bend Tribune building, and then the location where today stands the Main Street Row building is where this project will be constructed, a redevelopment of the Tribune building, and then a new construction building on the corner of Main and Colfax. Key metrics, 400 FTEs associated with this development to fill just over 200,000 square feet of space, $154 million total investment with more than $750 million in direct economic impact estimated over the next 10 years. 35% of the square footage would be occupied by university-related business units, and 90% local labor will be used in the construction project. So this project is a partnership between Ancora, the private developer, and the University of Notre Dame as one of the main anchor tenants. And we're really excited to be at this point and have this tool in our toolbox from the IDD standpoint that allows this project to go forward. This is just showing an image of the courtyard in between the buildings, so you can see really modern and exciting space to have in our downtown, bringing that many jobs into the downtown area with a lot of good paying opportunities there, and bringing other research and partners into our downtown areas is the goal here. And I'll let the development team talk a little bit more about that in a moment. So high level, what is before you today is your authorization to consider authorizing the issuance of up to $30.8 million in the developer purchase bond. The development group, Colfax Corner ML LLC, would then purchase that bond. And so then what would happen is the increment committed as part of that would be paid over the 25-year term on a portion, and then 30-year term on another portion would be paid over time. So in order to unlock the $30.8 million, all we are doing is committing future tax revenues that are generated directly by the project. Very similar to the J.C. Hart development project that came before you last year, although this does make available the forms of state tax increment. But why this format is so great for municipality is there is, first off, no risk to the city in case of debt service obligation that does not meet the payment. That is a risk borne by the developer. As well, there is no obligation for any cash from city revenues to be put into this project to make it go forward. So we're really excited that this is a viable path. And the only other commitment to highlight here is there are broader considerations around stormwater in the downtown area. I think I went into this in detail at your previous meeting, but the engineering team and public works team is working on some shared stormwater solutions that could serve multiple urban downtown sites, because stormwater retention is such a challenge in the urban core versus as you get further out in the neighborhoods, typically developments are going to have more area where they can have underground retention or retention basins. So working on some shared stormwater management solutions, and that's a work in progress, but we do have good options identified there. With that, where are we in the timeline? We're February 9th, we're at your consideration of the bond ordinance. If you were to authorize us to go forward after your meeting this evening, then the final step in the approval process would be at the Redevelopment Commission this coming Thursday. After that, we'd then work towards issuance of the bonds. That would likely take a few months. You'll note we have a not to exceed amount, bond authorization amount. That's because typically as we get towards closing is when we're going to fine tune our projections and land on an exact dollar amount, but it would not exceed the amount you're authorizing. With that, I will pause there. I want to bring up Tom Sardelli from Ancora, but also want to note we do have Tom Everett from Barnes and Thornburg, as well as Emma Adlam from Baker Tilly, our municipal finance advisor. Tom's here in person and Emma is online if there are specific questions related to either of those matters. But if not, I think Tom Sardelli, if you wanted to add anything.
Tom Sardelli, Ancora, 1625 I Street, Washington, D.C. I think Caleb covered it pretty well, but just wanted to mention that obviously humbled and honored to be standing here and just express gratitude for the partnership between the city and obviously the city and the state, and what will certainly drive a catalytic project aligned with the 2045 city's master plan. So happy to answer any other questions, but grateful for your consideration.
Committee members, do you have any questions that you would like to ask? Even if you have any questions for Caleb as well? Any committee members? Any council members? Okay, yeah.
Thank you, Chair. Is there a maturity date on these bonds?
So these bonds would have a 30-year term, but the
Okay.
amortization schedule is a little atypical in that on the property tax side, you're only going to see payments from the property tax increment over a 25-year period. So over the 25 years, you have a relatively consistent debt service obligation. Those last 5 years, it steps down because then it's just income and sales tax increment. But yeah, it'd be a 30-year term.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Seeing that there's no questions from committee members or council members, well, now, I don't think that, is anyone online that would like to ask a question?
Yes.
Committee member, Clerk Toronto?
Are we ready to do privilege of the floor?
Oh, no, we're not. I want to make sure that I thought we had another committee member online. I don't know if he has a question or not.
No, this is Tom. I'm fine.
Okay, thank you. Then we
Thank you,
now
Tom.
go to public hearing.
Yes. I do see we have one member online to speak under privilege of the floor under opposition, but I do want to ask if there are any members of the public in person that want to speak in favor. If there are, please step up to the podium and state your name and address. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Bethany Hartley, President and CEO of the South Bend Elkhart Regional Partnership. Address is 635 South Lafayette Boulevard, Suite 123, South Bend, Indiana, 46601. Good afternoon, and thank you very much for the opportunity to speak. I'm here on behalf of the Regional Partnership to express our strong support for the Colfax Corner project and the bond ordinance before you. For more than a decade, our region has been intentionally building toward a more competitive and prosperous future. Colfax Corner represents exactly the type of investment that moves that strategy from vision to reality. At the partnership, our North Star is clear: accelerating regional competitiveness and inclusive economic growth so that the South Bend Elkhart region becomes one of the most prosperous areas in the Midwest. Projects like Colfax Corner are how we get there. They bring together talent, innovation, and place in a way that is coordinated, visible, and designed for long-term impact. This project will co-locate university research, workforce, and talent development, and advance industry employers in the heart of downtown South Bend. That proximity matters. It strengthens the pipeline between education and employment, helps companies scale and innovate, and gives the next generation of talent a clear reason to build their careers here. Equally important, this investment strengthens the broader ecosystem. Increased daily activity downtown supports small businesses, builds on recent infrastructure and housing investments, and contributes to a stronger and more sustainable local tax base. It is this type of catalytic development that multiplies the value of the public and private investments our community has already made. From a regional perspective, Colfax Corner sends a powerful signal. It demonstrates that our public, private, academic, and philanthropic partners are aligned and willing to invest together in projects that create long-term economic opportunity. That level of alignment is one of this region's greatest competitive advantages. The financing approach before you is also thoughtful and responsible, tying repayment to the value of the project itself generates and ensuring that growth and fiscal stewardship move hand in hand. Simply put, opportunities to advance talent, innovation, and place at this scale do not come along often. Colfax Corner positions South Bend and the broader region to compete for the next generation of jobs, companies, and investments. For the regional partnership, this project embodies our vision for a more prosperous, competitive, and inclusive future. We urge you to approve the bond ordinance and help move this next chapter forward for South Bend and for the entire region. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else in person that would like to speak before I move to an individual online? Okay. At this time, I do see we have one person wishing to speak in opposition. Please unmute yourself and state your name and address.
Good afternoon, President and members of the Common Council. My name is William Elliott Smith, Esquire, with my identified address as 728 Whitehall Drive. In South Bend, Indiana, 46615, and I am here this afternoon to speak in opposition to Ordinance 05-26. Not because I oppose growth, and not because I oppose innovation, but because I oppose committing this city to an agreement we have not fully seen. Indiana law is clear. Under Indiana Code 36732.5, an innovation development district requires a written agreement between the local executive and the IEDC. That agreement must spell out the area involved, the financial projections, how tax increments are used, how long the district lasts, and how revenue is shared. It is not optional. It is the foundation of the entire IDD. Yet we have been told that only limited details of the agreement between the city and the IEDC can be disclosed. That should concern every one of us. The council is the body that holds the constitutional power of the purse. You appropriate funds. You authorize the diversion of property tax revenue. You answer directly to the people of South Bend. If there is an agreement that affects the capture and distribution of property taxes, sales taxes, and income taxes for decades, you should have the complete unredacted document before you are asked to move forward. Without full disclosure, you cannot meaningfully exercise oversight. You cannot explain the deal to your constituents, and you cannot ensure that the agreement protects South Bend's long-term financial health. We do not have to guess what can happen when transparency is limited. We can look at Lebanon, Indiana. In Lebanon's IDD for the Lilly Project, the IEDC anticipated capturing nearly $296 million in property taxes over the life of the district, along with almost $66 million in state income and sales taxes. But under their agreement, only 12% of the annual incremental property tax revenue was guaranteed to return locally. 88% went into the IDD fund controlled by the IEDC. There were no guarantees of state and local income tax to return either. That means the majority of new property tax growth, revenue that would otherwise support local schools, public safety, infrastructure, and city services, was diverted. And it didn't stop there. Under the agreement, the IEDC retained discretion over how excess funds would be used and could provide what they called community support distributions back to the city, but only under specific conditions and with restrictions. The city was prohibited from pledging those funds for debt unless the IEDC agreed in writing. Disputes were governed by state-level venue. The structure shifted control away from local elected officials. Lebanon effectively gave up far more in property tax revenue than it directly received back, and it ceded meaningful control over how those funds were administered. Is that what South Bend wants? Maybe the agreement here is different. Maybe it protects us better. But we do not know, because we have not seen it in full. Transparency is not an obstacle to economic development. It is what gives economic development legitimacy. If the agreement is strong, it should withstand public scrutiny. If it protects South Bend, it should be shown openly. And if it commits decades of tax revenue, it absolutely must be reviewed by the legislative body entrusted with fiscal authority. Tonight, I respectfully call on this committee to make a motion to postpone Ordinance 05-26 indefinitely due to the lack of transparency surrounding the agreement between the city and the IEDC. And I further call on you to make a motion to adopt the legislative ratification and transparency resolution that was delivered to your email inboxes this morning. The resolution declaring that any such agreement is non-binding unless fully disclosed and expressly ratified by this council. This is not about politics. It is about process. It is about protecting the authority of this council. And it is about ensuring that the people of South Bend are not asked to accept a deal they are not allowed to see. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. We'll now move to see if Mr. Bauer would like to come up for rebuttal.
Yeah, I mean, the IDD agreement is a public record, so the resident or their AI agent can certainly file a record request related to that. But primarily the reason why state statute, I don't want to speak to the legislative intent of the state legislature, but state statute is clear that it's between the executive branch and the IDC. And so this has been something reviewed by the executive branch. Primarily, the reason for that is because there's no commitment of dollars from the city, it doesn't need to come before the Common Council for authorization. It's literally just governing how the city receives funds from the state of Indiana. And their eligible uses. But yeah, we're happy to process a records request and distribute that to the gentleman online.
Thank you. At this time, I'm going to go back to committee members to see if you have any further comments. If not, I would like to entertain a motion regarding Bill 0526.
Chair, can you speak directly into the mic, please?
Okay, I
Thank
thought I
you.
was, I'm sorry. If there's no other questions or comments from council members, I would like to now entertain a motion regarding Bill 0526.
Can you hear me? It didn't seem like it was going through. I just want to know that like the Colfax Corner is the first project. Will this have to be like repeated every time a project comes up? So we have another,
It depends on the format of economic development agreements. So the IDD revenues are going to be governed by the redevelopment commission. So there could be, as revenues start to accrue, separate from this project,
right?
then the commission could appropriate those revenues as they do with TIF revenues, similar process. So that could still happen and wouldn't require the council's action. But in cases where we are issuing notes like this taxable economic development note, that would always need to come before council for your authorization.
Okay.
So
Thank
for
you.
bigger projects where this type of financing makes sense, then it would still come before council. Thank you.
I understand. Thank you.
Thank you. Committee members, what's your pleasure in regards to Bill 0526?
Move to send Bill 0526, is this a resolution? With a favorable recommendation to the whole council or the
Whole council. You got it right. Is
Yep.
there a second to that motion?
I'd second the motion.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Goes back to committee of the whole?
committee of the whole?
I think so. Okay, okay, goes to the committee of the whole then.
So committee of the whole.
We have a motion to send Bill 0526 to the committee of the whole. It's been seconded. At this time, Clerk Toronto.
Can I just ask who seconded, please, for my records?
I made the
Mhm.
motion.
Perfect.
Mhm,
Okay,
mhm.
thank you.
Clerk Toronto, will you please call the roll?
Committee Member Gooden Rogers. Committee Member Bolden Simpson.
Aye.
Citizen Member Kevin Upton.
Aye.
Citizen Member Thomas Gripe. Committee Chair White.
Aye.
I have 4 ayes.
Thank you. Then Bill 0526 will go to committee of the whole with a favorable recommendation. We thank everyone for all their work and their efforts, and we're going to move directly to Bill 2605. It's real property tax abatement. And do we have a presenter? State your name and address, please.
Hi, thank you, committee members. Eric Glavich, Director of Growth and Opportunity. Office is on the 5th floor of this building. I present to you our first tax abatement for this new year. I'm presenting a declaratory resolution for a 6-year real property tax abatement for petitioner David A. Newfer LLC, which is Burton's Laundry. Mr. Newfer and his company will be planning on building a brand new Burton's Laundry on South Main Street at the corner of Ekman, West Ekman. So looking on your screen, the parking lot south of the red highlighted area is the Bob Miller's parking lot. So just to give you some context of where this development would be. It's, as you can see in the picture, it's a vacant lot. So we're really excited that we can present to you this petition for tax abatement for a brand new project on the south side of South Bend. Just to give you an idea, very early in the planning stages, but Mr. Newfer was kind enough to provide kind of a rendering. You can see that, you know, really trying to figure out how to fit in with the neighborhood, provide an urban feel. You might recall that in 2023, the council had approved a tax abatement for Burton's Laundry up on Marion. You know, so Mr. Newfer's had success with that type of design, you know, kind of the urban feel, less in terms of the suburban kind of strip mall or parking lot in front. So very early in the planning stages, but this at least gives you an idea in terms of what they're thinking. You know, I think everyone's familiar with Burton's Laundry. They have 15 locations throughout the South Bend, Mishawaka, Elkhart area. Have been, very visible in the community, very community focused business and owners. This particular project would be roughly 4,600 square feet. And the total project would be $2 million. That includes $1.2 million in building construction and $800,000 in equipment. This Burton's would have 4 brand new jobs associated with it. So, really a win-win across the board. We're seeing new investment in an area that hasn't seen significant investment in a long time. We have a community partner who really does invest into the South Bend community, and they're creating new jobs. So as I mentioned, it's a 6-year real property tax abatement that the council would provide if it were to be approved. With the exception of a storage shed that's on there, it's a vacant lot. So it's paying very minimal taxes at this point. Our estimates, we're looking at $25,000 a year in property taxes, if this project were to be completed. So in terms of how the, abatement savings would play out over 6 years, you'd be looking at about $112,000 in taxes abated during that time. But the taxpayer would be paying almost $41,000 during that time. If this project were to not proceed at all, we would only be bringing in about $1,300 a year for this property. As we like to do, we like to play out 10 to 20 years in terms of what the tax estimates might look like. So you can see on the bottom of your screen, what those numbers would be. I'm going to pause there. Mr. Newfer is here. He can answer any questions about the project that you would have, and I can answer questions as well. So I'll pause.
David Newfer, 2409 Mishawaka Avenue, South Bend. First of all, I'd like to thank Eric and my wife, Susan, who did 99% of the work. I just came down to say hi. But it's a great project. I spent several days up and down Michigan Street, Main Street, Ewing, looked at all the development that has not happened on the south side of South Bend, other than I think one convenience store. When we bought this property from the Millers there, they were ecstatic that a development was actually going to happen. They did own the property. They at one point was going to build a warehouse there and decided against it for business reasons. But they're just thrilled that something's going to happen on that property. Also talked to the owners of Dave's Garage, which at one point I did own, to be clear. But they were ecstatic too to see some development down there. So we're excited about building down there. It'll be similar to the William Street property, except there'll be no rental space on it. It'll be just laundromat. In consideration for this opportunity, we'll do the same thing that we did on Marion Street, is we will continue to keep our prices below the market that we have. Of course, we own most of the market, but on William Street, we cut the prices about 10 or 12% for the 4 years of that abatement, and we'll do the same thing on South Main Street. That'll help the neighborhood, which I think is in desperate need of a store down there. There hasn't been a laundromat on the south side of South Bend for many years. There was one on Michigan Street in about the 26 or 2700 block just to the east. And there was also a store at one time in the 1400 block of South Michigan Street years ago that did not survive. So they've went to my stores to the east and store to the west, but this will help that neighborhood, I think, tremendously, and hopefully inspire other people to possibly look at consideration of building and developing more on the south side of South Bend. So I appreciate the opportunity and your consideration for this tax abatement. Thank you.
Thank you. Committee members, do you have any questions that you would like to
Madam-
ask the petitioner? Okay, I start with Councilwoman Rogers and then move Councilwoman Simpson voting, but I would like to ask if I could take 5 minutes, or you'd be willing to give me 5 minutes from the utility
Yes.
committee, and then we can move forward.
Yes, my mic. Yes, I'm sure that we need a laundromat on the, what is it, this, we're going to south side. But, the one thing that I'm very concerned about, and you know, you and I've talked sometime, is that I visit your store on Marion and Williams, okay, right over in there.
Mhm.
And it's a gorgeous building, gorgeous. And I appreciate the fact of the stuff that you do for the community with the homeless, you know, letting them take care of themselves and helping them out. I appreciate all that. But the one thing I'm very concerned about is when I went over there, maybe you didn't know it or maybe you hadn't seen it, was when I went in the backside, that's the way in the bushes and stuff, there was a lot of trash. Okay. There was bleach bottles and soap boxes and stuff. And I would think that with a building that beautiful, you would want to see it a little bit cleaner around there, which is kind of like one of my pet peeves, is to see things be clean. So in the future, can you please just check that out? And maybe you didn't know, you know, I know you're a businessman and you're busy, you know, and we appreciate that. But I would like to see a business kept a little bit cleaner than what I saw that day. Now it could have been, it was September, so it could have been the wind had them blown stuff in and whatever. But I'm just asking for that, and I appreciate what you're doing for us.
Well, thank you. That has been addressed. It's still an ongoing problem, unfortunately, caused by people getting into the dumpster and pretty much emptying the dumpster in that blocked in area there, looking for cans or whatever. Being more proactive now, I do have people that work for me, obviously. And I send one of my maintenance guys out there every Monday and every Friday to clean the area up, around the dumpster, the grass, et cetera, et cetera. So it has helped, but I just noticed here about 3 weeks ago when it was cold out, somebody, believe it or not, when it was 0, pretty much emptied the dumpster into the ground looking for cans or whatever again. So unfortunately, we had that problem in 3 or 4 of the stores on the west side. We've tried to put locks on a couple of the dumpsters. I don't think it's really helped because now they're throwing trash on the ground next to the dumpster. So ongoing problem, but I will have the manager, I have a new manager at that store too, and I think that's helped too. Be a little more proactive on calling the maintenance guy. If we have a mess on Wednesday, let's say, of going out there and addressing it at that time, not waiting till Friday. So, but yes, it is a problem that I think we're doing a better job on.
Okay, I appreciate that. And I know that it is a problem all around the city, not just at your business, but a lot of the businesses.
Yep.
I'm seeing that, so
Yep.
what you can do, I would appreciate it.
Yep.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Councilwoman Simpson?
Hey there, I'm Sherry Bolden Simpson, as the councilwoman for the South Side. So I'm very, 5th District, very happy to see a vacant lot have business on it. And I had a question about your hours of operations. I'm a little concerned, kind of like the same thing of people loitering around. And if you have late hours, will you have security or somewhat so trash is not, maybe you can see someone when they're throwing trash?
Yeah, hopefully that's not quite as many problems out there because of the neighborhood, et cetera. We're having some problems with some businesses close to us on William Street. The other thing that we did do out there is we did add some more outside lighting, which I think has helped. But to answer your question, those hours would be the same as the one on William Street. We open at 8 a.m. Last wash will be 8 p.m. and close at 9. So after 9 o'clock, there shouldn't be any activity out there at all. So we do have some stores that are open to 10, but that will not be one of
9
them.
o'clock, okay. One more question, Madam Chairman. You said you're gonna have four employees, I read in there. They're local, or you?
Well, we haven't hired anybody yet,
Okay,
but we always try to hire close to the stores that we build.
okay,
So then we don't have the excuse of, I couldn't get to work because my car broke down. And
okay.
actually hired two people at a store we just built that live right around the corner, so they can't even use that excuse because they walk.
And there are a lot of, there are teenagers, 17 and 18 that live like on Oakside, Ekman, Riley High School. It's over there. So I encourage you to seek around there.
We will. We
Okay,
will.
thank you for coming to the
Thank
South
you.
Side Fifth District.
Thank you.
Thank you as well. We'll now go to our public hearing. Clerk Toronto, are there any individuals online wishing or in person wishing to speak in support of this resolution?
I do not see any members of the public in person or online wishing to speak in favor.
Anyone wishing to speak in opposition?
I do not see any members of the public in person or online wishing to speak in opposition at this time.
Okay, seeing no one, the public hearing is now closed. Committee members, what is your pleasure?
That bill 2605 goes to the full council with a favorable recommendation.
Is there a second to that motion? We have a
Second.
motion and it's been seconded. Clerk Toronto, will you please call the roll call?
Committee Member Good Rogers,
Aye.
Committee Member Bolden Simpson,
Aye.
Citizen Member Kevin Upton,
Aye.
Committee Vice Chair White.
Aye.
4 ayes.
Resolution 2605 will be sent to the full council with a positive, favorable recommendation, and the Community Investment Committee is now closed.
Like to call to order the Utilities Committee meeting, our organizational meeting. Clerk Toronto, would you take roll, please? Call roll, please.
Yes.
I think we have one member that's going to be online.
Yes. Committee Member Niskoski,
Present.
Committee Member McBride, welcome. Committee Member Dr. Davis, Committee Member Good Rogers,
Present.
Citizen Member Joseph Mayer is online,
Present.
Committee Vice Chair Thomas Morgan,
Present.
Committee Chair Bolden Simpson.
Present. Thank
All
you.
are present.
Thank you. Today we'll have our organizational meeting. The Utilities Committee oversees various activities of all enterprises, entities, including but not limited to the Bureau of Waterworks, Bureau of Sewers, and related entities. We have one citizen member here, and I'm still looking for another citizen member, and so we will have that other citizen member shortly. Okay. We had a number of meetings, very helpful meetings, a hybrid meeting with technology, very informative meeting regarding the forever chemicals in our water. And so we know that our water and our sewage is vital. It's life-giving to our community. That's why I'm very happy about dealing with the water in the city. And so we will continue to meet. We know that we have some things that are on the horizon, are very serious, and we will be discussing them and keeping the public aware. Want to thank, I think it's Catherine Sutherland, on how she helps our citizen handle their utility bills. And so we will keep moving forward on that. Our goal is to serve the community, be transparent. And if there are more goals, I would like our committee members, just email me if you have something in mind. Committee members, any questions, concerns, or comments? Okay. This meeting is, the utility organizational meeting is adjourned. Thank you, citizen member Joseph Mayer, for being here. Adjourned.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'd like to call the zoning and annexation committee to order. We'd like to ask our clerk to please give us the roll.
Committee Member White,
Present.
Committee Member Warner, Committee Vice Chair Thomas Morgan,
Present.
Committee Chair Dr. Davis.
Present. Thank you. We do have a quorum. We have 3 of our 4 members. And I'd like to announce that there have been 2 members that I have chosen. And I've talked to both of them. And that is Danny B. Kuntz. Danny B. Kuntz should be coming to the office. I'll send you the notification of that. And he lives in the 5th district. And also faithful and true Miss Stacy Odoms. Talked to her to see if she wanted to continue. She's been with us for the last 2 years. And so she's also consented to do that. So those would be the 2 members that would be on this committee. You have the review that has been sent to everybody here. I'm holding it's been sent to 2025 Annual Report and Zoning and Annexation Committee. As you can see in the meeting in January of this year, we had a lot of the changes that were presented to us. We discussed them last year and it came to fruition this year. And the goal of what the zoning and annexation department, they were talking about making sure that we don't have to go as far as we did in the past to make changes, that many changes at one time. We will be coming on a more regular basis for us in the coming future. And so we have a busy year coming up. I look forward to working with you all there. And let's see, this year, let me see. 2, 3, 4. Same people. Same committee members, and I thank you all for serving in the past, and we're looking for you to serve this year. Any other questions that we have before we close out? Seeing none, we will close out that portion of our committee. We still have other items to bring on our committee. So now we will move forward. We have Bill number 0226 coming before us, special exception at 1114 Mayflower Road. Okay.
Hey, good evening, committee members. Brian Killen, zoning administrator, 5th floor of this building. Yeah, I'll be presenting 3 special exceptions this evening. First up is 1114 Mayflower Road. This is Bill 2-26. It's a special exception, again, for 1114 Mayflower Road to permit a daycare center as a use within a suburban 1 district. The property actually contains a building. This is looking east from Mayflower. This is existing structure that actually used to be a daycare starting around 2012. And that use had expired a few years ago. So we're reestablishing this through a special exception for a daycare use. The daycare use fits the surrounding land use. The suburban residential neighborhood, we feel it would support residents and families. It is compatible with the comprehensive plan supporting the coordination of educational facilities. It comes to you with a favorable recommendation from the Board of Zoning Appeals. So this is another picture looking east. This is an overview. You might have recognized this. This particular applicant did come before you last year requesting pre-K, and they've switched plans and going and pursuing daycare.
Okay. Wonderful.
They said they would be online, so that's.
Hi, do we have our petitioner online? Do we have the petitioner for 0226 special exception 1114 Mayflower Road online?
I do not see any petitioners online at this time.
Okay.
All right, so
We can either, what, go with no recommendation or just hear later on tonight or wait till the next meeting? Mhm. Yeah, we,
Petitioners there tonight, you can still hear.
that's fine. I'm at peace because we know about this. It's not a new item in a sense. I mean, a
Right.
little multiple
It's the
changes,
same
but yeah.
owner.
With the counsel of our attorney, what is the member's pleasure? Good. Go ahead, go ahead. Councilwoman Thomas Morgan?
Chair.
Yes.
Public-
Okay, I'm at peace. All right, we still need the public hearing, so are you finished your presentation, your part of
Yes, sir.
yours? Okay, let's open it up for those who'd like to speak in favor. Whether you're online or in public, please come forth and share your thoughts.
I do not see any members of the public in person or online wishing to speak in favor.
Okay. Anybody in present or online would like to speak in opposition? Your time is now for you to speak.
I do not see any members of the public in person or online wishing to speak in opposition.
I thank you so much for that, our clerk. So we will close our public hearing and now we go to comments or a motion from our own.
Dr.
Things
Davis, may
good?
I comment, please? I
Yes,
didn't have
please.
an opportunity prior to the public hearing.
Go ahead. I'm at peace.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, Chair. This property here is right across from Countryside Village. This was a daycare at one time. The building has been empty, and I've talked to some residents there and at the trailer park, and they welcomed if this would have been a pre-K. But I can tell you that same sentiment remains for this to be a daycare. It would really serve the purpose of this entire neighborhood on the east and west side of Mayflower Road, as far as the north side. So I just wanted to let my fellow council members and the members of this committee, since I'm not on the ZNA committee, know that this would be a great project. It's a great investment of money. And it's so close to the park right there too. So they're sinking money into Belleville Complex. There's also a little park back there where Mathis Little League used to be at. I think it still is. So I know I'm happy about this project and supporting it, and I appreciate the investment from the petitioner, although he's not here today. I know he's excited about this project as well. Thank you again, Dr. Davis, for letting me have some input.
Thank you so much. I agree with your sentiments there with that. So my church owns the property right next to it too, and we're very pleased with it. So I'm at peace.
I'll follow up with them after this to make sure they attend the 7 o'clock meeting.
Okay, now, Councilwoman Thomas Morgan, you.
Oh, yeah, I will.
We just
Yeah.
issue a reminder.
Yeah.
to him, like,
We did
it's
that
an
on
exciting
Friday,
project,
but
so it'd be nice to move it forward.
oh, yeah,
Thank you.
agreed.
Cool. And would you also planning to make a motion to?
I would be happy to. I'd like to move that we send Bill 02-26 to the Committee of the Whole with a favorable recommendation.
Second.
All in favor? Or do we need, we don't have to.
We need a roll. Oh, no.
Oh, we're
I'm
sending,
sorry.
I'm sorry, we need to, I would like to rescind that motion. Thank you for
Mm-hmm.
the reminder, Councilwoman. Because the petitioner
got you.
isn't here, we need to send it forward with no recommendation. So I will be amending my motion and send it forward to the Committee of the Whole with no recommendation. Thank you.
I'm at peace.
No.
Now,
Second.
do we need to, do roll call or just all in favor? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? It is carried. We'll send that tonight with, as amended. Now for your presentation on bill number 0326.
Good evening again. Do I need to state my name each time?
Yeah, go for it.
Brian Killen, zoning administrator, 5th floor of City Hall. This is Bill, so the next two are very similar, the same owner, both duplex requests. Bill 3-26 is a special exception by the owners of 1307 Corby to allow a 2-unit dwelling on the property. They intend to build this is the current view of the property. The side-by-side duplex would is they intend to build a side-by-side duplex after demolition of the current home as pictured. This is an overview of the side-by-side duplex. This is a rendering of an elevation of what it would look like. And so the use of the dwelling as a 2-unit dwelling fits into the city's comprehensive plan that encourages residential developments with a mix of housing types, is also consistent with the 2022 Northeast Neighborhood Plan that identifies this area of Corby Boulevard as having low-density residential, which duplexes would fit into that low density. This comes to you with a favorable recommendation from the Board of Zoning Appeals.
Okay, is the presenter here?
Yes.
Okay. Hi, just please state your name.
Hi, Alyssa Gonzorek, 7821 Morse Road, New Albany, Ohio, 43054. Thanks for having me. Glad to be here, happy to be investing in South Bend. This will be my third project. We have 2 others currently under construction on Corby, one right next to this one. And, we've had nothing but positive experiences coming to South Bend and working from the zoning department to the building to the inspectors, and hope to, keep it moving. We're looking for not only, shorter term investment, but also longer term investments. Recently acquired a building at the corner of Michigan Street and Wayne. It was vacant, and we're currently looking this year to repurpose it. So just wanted to emphasize, we're happy to be here, happy to be investing, and, looking for long-term investments as well as, smaller projects like this as well.
Okay. All righty. Any questions from our committee? Go ahead.
Thank you, Chair. Just a couple of questions clarifying. Mr. Killian, you said that these were the same owners. I'm seeing on our petition that the contact person is Ms. Gunserek, but then
Yeah, the second one says a different name.
1307 is owned by the Outlaws.
Yes, that is
and then-
correct. The, this one is 1307, right? Yes, I am representing the current owner.
Okay.
Yeah, and
You-
then
You own the second one.
correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. And are you able, just in terms of demographics, what are you hoping to attract with this housing? Do you, and maybe with the duplex, the other 2 that you mentioned, are these longer term rentals?
We're not marketing it to any specific group. We have one currently 90% done, and the other is about 75% done. So those will be marketed. But as far as who we're marketing it to, it's wide open. We have the one that's 75% done, we have an interested buyer who's looking for a VA loan. He didn't qualify for one side only, so he's hoping to, for that particular VA loan, he can add in the rental income from the other side, which would hopefully qualify him for a loan for the whole amount. That's just anecdotal, someone who's interested, but not marketing it to any particular group, just putting it out there. In terms of compared to putting a single family home on a similar lot, it's 20 to 30% cheaper. Being a duplex, similar size to a single family home in that area, in that same block area. So,
Okay. Yeah. So I think you also just answered so you are the developer and then you'll be selling
yes,
the property. Thank you.
correct.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, may I
Yeah.
ask a question? Yes, I'm not a part of the committee, but I would like to know, what does the neighbors think of a duplex being in the neighborhood with the other mixed houses that's there?
Yeah, we have not run into any opposition from the neighbors. I feel like in the design, we were really careful to keep it looking as much as a single family home as possible. You'll see the porch goes all the way across. And if you're driving down the street, if you're not studying it, I don't think it looks like a duplex. And that was important to me in terms of design, to keep it consistent with, the new builds in the area. So, but we have not run into anyone saying that, not welcoming.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. You asked my question. Any other questions? I'm at peace. Go for it.
I think I'm understanding that people can, because I heard of this concept that buyers can buy like one of them and another buyer can buy the other part of the duplex?
That's correct. They can either buy the whole thing or a half, and it would be similar to a condo.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's far away from Rise Up.
It's right down the street. All righty. Any others? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
At this time, we have our public, those who would like to speak in favor, if whether you're present or online, please speak now.
I do not see any members of the public in person or online wishing to speak in favor at this time.
Thank you. If those who like to speak in opposition, whether you're online or whether you're in public, would you please speak now?
I do not see any members of the public in person or online wishing to speak in opposition.
Okay, thank you. We'll close our public hearing and we bring it back to our committee for final comments or a recommendation.
I'd like to add just one thing, just so
Yes, sir.
for transparency. During the Board of Zoning Appeals, we did receive one public comment. It was from Bill Stens, the Northeast Neighborhood Council President. He did express, not that it was a duplex, he just expressed concern over over short-term rentals. Just so you know that we did receive the one comment about the project. No one from the immediate neighborhood, but someone from the neighborhood council.
And how was that responded to?
From the petitioner?
Petitioner
Or-
or yourself or whoever, in terms of how would that issue, his
We
concern be
feel,
addressed?
we did, well, we didn't respond. We just said, that we're happy to see any amount of housing, additional housing units in the city. And just, we would make the council aware that this person was requesting a, what do they call it, deed restriction, again, to protect against short-term rentals.
When you say short-term rentals, how short are we talking?
They're concerned, the Northeast Neighborhood Council's concerned over Airbnb style housing. So they're concerned that it would be sold and just rented, but again, any new housing in the neighborhood, especially on a vacant lot, is, we didn't feel like, it was our place to promote a restriction on who they sell it to, who the unit is sold to, so. But I'm just letting you know that there was one comment expressed.
Okay. Righty. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to, just a comment before our motion. I have been at the NENC, NEN council, neighborhood meetings, and so have heard that concern. And as Mr. Killian said, it's not, there is a concern about the number of duplexes, but really, I think the bigger concern is short-term rental in the neighborhood and the proliferation of that. And neighbors are concerned that a proliferation of, that building duplexes would just, proliferate that short-term rental even more. And so I think that these are one of these examples that is really important for us just to look at, and to study. Are we seeing a correlation between duplexes and short-term rental, especially in an area that is, neighbors are worried about it's losing its neighborhood character and turning into short-term rental, campuses. But I'll also just say, I think that that's why it's important that things like this come to the council, because it allows neighbors and the public to share their concerns with council members, and it gives citizens an opportunity to share their voice through us, but also in public. And so I continue to welcome that duplexes come to the council for special exception approval. And I think the concern is not so much, on vacant land, but when we start tearing down existing buildings and then building on top of it, I think that's where the neighbors' concerns lie. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for that comment. And now, anybody else? One more,
If I may.
go ahead, and then we'll go ahead with that. comment.
I do know that the northeast side neighborhood is well established, so I'm thinking that they would have shown up that they had any like really staunch opposition. And I drive down that street 5 days a week, and so I saw it, and I didn't realize it. The one that's 75% done, I didn't realize it was a duplex. So it does look like a one house, so that pleases me. I did think about what about can they Airbnb it?
They could Airbnb if it was if it was a single family
Yeah,
too, so.
just a thought, it's a chance
All righty.
to keep an eye on that.
Well, thank you for that comment. Now, for our committee, what is your pleasure?
I'd like to move that we send Bill 03-26 to the full committee of the whole with a favorable recommendation.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All righty. It will go forward to the committee of the whole with a favorable recommendation. We have one more, and that's bill number 404-26, special exception. And we apologize to the council rules for going over a little bit. So we'll be able to take care of that.
Yeah, I'll try to keep this short. Good evening again, Brian Killen, zoning administrator, 5th floor of City Hall. This is Bill 4-26, special exception for a 2-unit dwelling duplex. This is, and actually in this image, you can see one of the other projects that they're working on. That's the blue duplex to the left there. But this is 1301. That's the house in the middle. It would be a new side-by-side duplex. It's a little bit narrower, so it's a narrow lot, so you only see the 2 cars versus the 4 previously. And this is an elevation similar, just a narrower duplex, but it is a side-by-side. And again, we feel it meets the Northeast Neighborhoods plan that identifies this area of Corby as low density residential. So this comes to you with a favorable recommendation from the Board of Zoning Appeals.
Okay. Presenter. Please come on back.
Alyssa Genzorek again. Just similar comment as last time. Same scope and scale of the picture that you saw. This one is a little bit smaller. But again, trying to go with, single family feel from the front. So when you're driving by, it blends in.
Now the driveway will still be, you have 2 driveways or one?
No, there's an alley in the back. So there's detached garages. So there's no driveway in the front.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I'm at peace. Questions for our presenter? Yes, Councilwoman Nagowski. Go ahead.
Thank you, Dr. David. Yeah, I'm not on the committee, but I was just curious, what is the frontage on this, since it is a smaller lot and it's going to be 2 side by sides? What's the total frontage? I see it's got the 15-foot setback.
Yeah, I think
What's the
this one, I don't have the picture. I think it's 18. It's whatever's in the site. Do you have the site plan?
Yeah, I
Yeah, I
couldn't
think it's
make it out.
18 to the front door. And that would be from the property line, not from the sidewalk.
So from property line to property line, it's going to be 36 foot on the
Oh,
front.
I thought you meant the setback. I'm sorry. It's
The setback, I believe, is a 15-foot setback.
yeah, it's 166, I believe. Are you wide or depth?
Yeah, it's 60 feet wide.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, 160 feet deep.
Okay, thank you. I was just curious on what the frontage was. If they're selling them separately and you only have a standard, say 40-foot frontage, that means that building's only going to be 20 foot. So I kind of just wanted to get an overall.
Oh, I'm sorry.
better-
I mean,
but
yeah,
you know
I
what I'm saying,
misunderstood.
better idea of the
width. Yeah,
frontage
yeah.
on the
It's,
front lot of the
yeah.
property. I know the setback.
It's 40 feet. The property's 40 feet. The house is 30 feet.
All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? I see none. We will now move to the public. Thank you so kindly.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Those who'd like to speak in favor, please share your thoughts, whether you're in person or online.
At this time, I do not see anyone in person or online wishing to speak in favor.
Thank you. Those who'd like to speak in opposition, whether you're in person or online, please share your thoughts.
I do not see anyone in person or online wishing to speak in opposition.
I thank you. Public hearing is now closed. We'll bring it back to our committee for final thoughts or for recommendation. Committee, it's only three of us.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Anybody have a recommendation?
I want to make sure I'm on the right page. I would
Okay.
like to, and this is the other 0426. I would like to make a motion that is sent to the full council committee of the whole with a favorable recommendation.
Okay, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved, it's been seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? It will go with a favorable recommendation. This time, we are adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I will now call the Rules Committee. Clerk Toronto, please call the roll.
Committee Member Warner. Committee Member Niskoski.
Present.
Committee Member Lee.
Present.
I have two present.
Can I just make the presentation from here, or do I need to go? Good. Hannah Lee, 1929 North Huey Street, South Bend, Indiana. There have been many calls by residents and council members alike to amend Chapter 2, Article 1, Section 2-10 of the Municipal Code regarding written complaints made against council members and the manner in which these complaints are resolved. Current ordinance provides that the initial meetings of the Rules Committee is to discuss complaints to be in a non-public executive session. That provision of the ordinance was enacted approximately 14 years prior to the enactment of the applicable Indiana Door statute, which has been interpreted by the former public access counselor as requiring a public meeting, even at the initial confidential stage of the process. Recent public meetings of the Rules Committees demonstrated the impossibility of complying with the confidentiality provision of the ordinance and the former PAC's interpretation of the open door law. This led the Rules Committee to investigate how other municipalities address complaints against common council members. The results were unexpected. The search revealed that almost no municipality has a similar ordinance providing for complaints to be filed, including Mishawaka, Elkhart, Fort Wayne, Gary, or the St. Joseph County. One municipality that has a somewhat similar complaint system also provides for confidentiality. It is not known whether this provision has ever been challenged. We believe that the city of South Bend should join those municipalities that do not provide for a process of receiving and resolving complaints against elected officials. Eliminating the formal complaint process does not leave our residents without redress. Reports of improper conduct can be filed with the police department or the prosecutor's office. Those entities are far better equipped to investigate alleged misconduct than the council is. Additional remedies against elected officials are contained in Indiana state statutes. Residents and others will continue to have the privilege of the floor available at council meetings. The Rules Committee will continue to have jurisdiction over issues of public trust. And finally, the citizens' ultimate remedy is the ballot box. The proliferation of frivolous, meritorious, repetitive, or legal incorrect complaints combined with the elimination of non-public executive session for initial consideration of complaints, has resulted in an inordinate amount of time devoted to resolving such complaints and hinders the Rules Committee in performing its necessary duties. The current ordinance provides no expeditious way to resolve such complaints short of a Rules Committee hearing. This proposed amendment ordinance will remedy this situation. This ordinance repeals, supersedes, and replaces Chapter 2, Article 1, Section 2-10, 1 in its entirety, and the amendment will eliminate frivolous, meritless, or legal incorrect complaints which the Rules Committee is compelled to resolve under the procedure contained in the current ordinance. We ask that this proposed ordinance be assigned, and we ask that this proposed ordinance be voted on. And just very quickly, as president, this issue has been on the docket for over a year. Recent discussions surrounding Bill 0126 has understandably raised questions about transparency, accountability, and the role of citizens' oversight in local government. I support this bill because it does not remove citizens' rights or weaken accountability. Rather, it corrects an outdated and legally problematic ordinance and brings South Bend into alignment with modern standard state law and best practices used across Indiana. First and foremost, Bill 0126 does not eliminate accountability for Common Council members, nor does it silence residents. Citizens will continue to have multiple avenues to raise concerns and hold public officials accountable. What this bill does is address a process that is inefficient, vulnerable to abuse, and unique in Indiana, often to the detriment of taxpayers, city staff, and even legitimate complaints. The problem with the current ordinance is this. South Bend's current ordinance allows any individual to file a complaint against a council member for alleged misconduct without verification under oath, personal knowledge of the allegation, and any preliminary screening for merit. Once a complaint is filed, it automatically triggers mandatory action by the Rules Committee, even if the allegation is frivolous, duplicative, defamatory, or filed by someone with no connection to the city of South Bend. And due to the non-binding opinion issued years ago by a former Indiana Public Access counselor, these complaints must now be addressed in public meetings, regardless of the credibility or merit. When the ordinance was originally enacted, the confidentiality provision protected council members from false, libelous, and unfounded allegations. Public hearings came into play only after the Rules Committee found probable cause after an investigation. That protection is now gone when every single allegation must be heard in a public forum and is disseminated to the media and to the general public through emails and irresponsible blog sites. This structure creates a system where every allegation, no matter how baseless, demands public time, taxpayer-funded resources, and reputational harm, with no mechanism for early dismissal or confidentiality at the preliminary stage. It is important to note that this ordinance was enacted more than a decade before the Indiana Open Door Law and long before email, social media, and online platforms became tools for mass communication. As a result, it now conflicts with modern governance realities and legal standards that other municipalities have already addressed. How other cities have handled these complaints? A review of 25 most populous municipalities in Indiana clearly shows that South Bend's approach is the exception, not the rule. Only 5 municipalities have a formal complaint process for council members. Those that do require complaints to be filed under oath, reviewed confidentially at the preliminary stage, and screened for probable cause before any public hearing. Many cities, including Fort Wayne, Evansville, Fishers, Bloomington, Lafayette, Mishawaka, Elkhart, West Lafayette, and St. Joseph County have no municipal complaint process at all, relying instead on state laws and ethics statutes. Where complaint systems do exist, they are typically handled through codes of ethics and independent ethics boards, not automatic public hearings. Examples include Carmel, where complaints may be dismissed administratively without a public meeting if no reasonable grounds exist. Muncie, which also allows executive session review and dismissal of frivolous complaints. Portage, which keeps complaints confidential until a public hearing is warranted. And Indianapolis, which permits informal executive session review and does not require every allegation to be aired publicly. With this, we want to protect accountability without preventing abuse. Bill 0126 recognizes a simple but essential principle. Accountability must be balanced with due process. A system that forces public hearings for every unverified allegation does not strengthen democracy, it weakens it by encouraging misuse, fueling polarization, and draining public resources. The current ordinance has also created opportunities for individuals to weaponize the complaint process, using it to generate controversy, to drive traffic to politically funded platforms, or raise money without accountability, verification, or even residency in South Bend. Complaints may be submitted electronically without appearing before the clerk's office, meaning anyone, anywhere can file an allegation that is required to be discussed publicly. When this ordinance was adopted, there was no internet, no email, no social media, and in today's hyper-polarized environment, it is both responsible and necessary to update our policies that reflect current realities. Citizens' remedies still remain intact. Eliminating this ordinance does not leave citizens without recourse. Citizens retain extensive avenues for accountability under Indiana law, including criminal prosecution for public servants offenses, civil actions against government officials, open door law complaints, state board of account investigations, malfeasance proceedings under Indiana code, and public comment and privilege of the floor before the Common Council. Serious allegations of misconduct are best handled by law enforcement, prosecutors, or courts, not by the legislative body compelled to publicly entertain every unverified claim. So this Bill 126 is a responsible and modern step forward. It's about aligning South Bend with constitutional due process, state law, proven municipal best practices. It preserves transparency where it matters, and when probable cause exists, while protecting taxpayers' staff time and the integrity of public service. This bill does not weaken the citizens' voice, it strengthens good governance. And for this reason, and because of the lack of due process embedded in the current ordinance, I support making this change and bringing balance, fairness, and accountability back to our municipal code. At this time, is there any questions? And Mr. Palmer, is there anything else you want to add to that?
Just to expand on one of you, as the ordinance is currently written, any violation of any ordinance in the South Bend Code could trigger a public hearing. That includes getting up and walking out of the council meeting to go to the restroom, speaking without being recognized by council president or chair, jaywalking, parking tickets, anything. And there's no expeditious way to get rid of those types of complaints. And it gotten out of hand, in my opinion, as a council attorney. And we're not equipped to do the investigations that some of these complaints require. Because we take everyone seriously, follow the law on every one of them. And it takes a tremendous amount of time. So you've outlined the different ordinances that are available to citizens if they want to file a complaint against a council member. They will be resolved in due course by whatever agency they file. So citizens still have several opportunities to make their views known, just will not be done in a public setting without due process. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other now we'll go to any other council members with a question.
Yes, thank you for your very thorough explanation for wanting to change. I just asked all of us to, I do remember that at one time there was a proposed change to the privilege of the floor. So in light of this, I really want to keep the privilege of the floor exactly as it is.
Yeah.
So especially due to, of course, the final vote will be tonight that this might go away because as you say, we do not want our citizens to feel that they don't have a voice.
Right.
And so I have pondered on this, just sat and thought about it, and that's what came to mind. And we want to do what's best for us. I understand definitely investigating, researching what other entities are doing. And at the end of the day, we're going to do what's best for South Bend. And that's what I want to say, that our privilege of the floor remain open as it is, so people feel like they have.
Our privilege of floor will not change. And that's very important. Citizens being able to have a voice is very important.
Can I
But
say
yes, ma'am.
Yes, I would like to say that I think that it is time for our South Bend City Council to come up with other councils. I would like to say that long as the privilege of the floor is there, people still have can come and say speak on whatever. But then I also like to see the change for the simple fact that as a committee, when we do make a decision, it's like it's not acceptable to what we didn't make the right decision according to some of the public. So with it going here to another place, then that way they can't say that we favored one another. So
Exactly.
that's the part I like, is that we're not being accused of, oh, you're my best friend, so you're gonna vote the way. So I like that. In other words, I like the way it's being done. Let's move it.
Yeah, that was one of the things that, again, when you look at other municipalities, people had to verify under oath, and with our process, you don't. People had to have personal knowledge of the allegation. With our process, you don't. And then there was always a preliminary screening that we actually in our ordinance have a non-public executive session where we are able to screen it. But again, with the ruling of the public access counselor saying that, and he's no longer there anymore, but him saying that it should be open to the public, that's what hinted on there needing to be a change. And again, when these rules were adopted, there was no email, so people couldn't email their complaint, or you had to actually file it, come to the clerk's office and have it stamped. And again, we promised that we would look at it. We've looked at other cities, and now this is where we've come to. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, President. So what you're saying is, and I think I'm glad for the clarity, because there's a misunderstanding that some citizens are thinking that they can no longer file any complaints. So what this would do, citizens will still have the opportunity to file complaints about council members' conduct through the St. Joseph County Prosecutor's Office or the South Bend Police Department, depending on the nature of the issue. Is that correct?
Yes.
And then two, when you look at this, that these agencies are the proper legal authorities for handling serious allegations such as harassment, threats, intimidation, and misconduct. And they also have the power of enforcement and investigators, and they have the tools that we are not trained to do as council, even under the Rules Committee. And this takes away, when complaints have been filed, and if they've been filed against a council member, then the Rules Committee is comprised of council members. And then, there lies a lot of concerns, when you begin to look at being transparent, but also you want to be fair as you begin to move forward. So these changes, they do not change or remove accountability. It just clarifies where and how to direct the complaints. So any citizen can still file complaints. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I want to make sure.
There
Mm-hmm.
are some
Okay. Mm-hmm. They can go to state. Mhm.
different statutory procedures that can be followed that do not involve filing anything with the council,
Mhm.
but going to agencies or courts that have the processes for remedy.
Okay. Could we
And it-
have a list of those?
I can out the statutes if you would.
Oh,
like.
no, you can just email it to us. Thank you.
And this is about aligning ourselves with other municipalities. Closest one is our county council. So again, this is about updating, looking at where we need to change, keeping the transparency so there is no favoritism, and then being able to do what we need to do as a council. Any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
Just on the issue of transparency, I think that is really important, and that's kind of the crux of the problem here. I do want to say that our council and our procedures are just really impressive when we look at our, when we compare ourselves with other communities. We allow hearings, the public to speak on bills in committee. We allow the public to speak on bills in second reading, and we have privilege of the floor. Not all communities have that,
Right.
or counties.
Right.
And so even some of our residents here who are used to sharing their views here in our common council go to other councils and don't understand why it's not the same. And so have come back to say they now appreciate the transparency that we have in the city, not to mention as well our timely minutes, especially over the past couple of years, and the dashboards that we have, across multiple departments. And so anyway, just want to highlight that. I think South Bend is really leading in terms of public documents and opportunities for the public to voice their concerns.
Say one more thing.
Yes, ma'am.
I would like to say to the Attorney Palmer that in the discussion tonight, that some of those other ways of filing should be just mentioned. Maybe you don't have to just go into full details, but at least mention more than the two that we have mentioned here today. Would you please do that? Thank you.
Anyone else? At this time, with the Rules Committee, do we go to the public? Okay, at this time, Clerk Terrell, is there anyone from the public wishing to speak in favor?
I do not see anyone in person or online wishing to speak in favor.
Is there anyone looking to speak in opposition?
I do not see anyone in person or online wishing to speak in opposition.
All right, at this point, the public hearing portion is closed. I will now entertain a motion.
I would like to make a motion to send Bill 01-26 to the Committee of the Whole with a favorable recommendation.
Second. Clerk Toronto, please call the roll.
Committee Member Noskowski.
Aye.
Committee Member Lee.
Aye.
2 ayes.
All right. Bill 0126 will be sent to the Committee of the Whole at our 7 p.m. Meeting. All right, at this point, the committee meetings are now adjourned. And we won't do informal tonight. Is that all right? Okay, thank you.